Welcome to This Explainer. Today we're diving into a silent, but honestly, massive phenomenon. We're drawing on some really profound insights from Jaldip Shah's Seek, Seed, Grow framework to explore a wild concept: why professional comfort is actually the hidden enemy of growth for high-achieving people. Now, to be clear, we aren't talking about burnout here, and we're definitely not talking about failure. We're talking about something way, way sneakier.
Think about it. You've probably achieved all the conventional markers of success, right? You're a senior manager, a VP, maybe a director navigating the fast-paced corporate world of India or the global South Asian diaspora. You're likely in that 35 to 50 age bracket. Your income is highly stable. You've literally done everything right. And yet, maybe late at night or just spacing out on your commute, you feel it. This persistent, quiet, internal restlessness. It's a feeling of what we call arrival emptiness. And that gap between the life you're currently living and the life that actually feels truly yours, well, it's just getting harder and harder to ignore.
So, here is our roadmap for today. We'll be walking through 1. The middle class trap. 2. Why the brain loves comfort. 3. 3 faces of professional comfort. 4. The hidden costs over time. 5. Security versus stagnation. And finally, 6. Awareness before action. Let's get right into it. Section 1, the middle class trap. We're going to start by looking in the mirror to really understand this specific trap that catches ambitious, incredibly capable people who have seemingly made it. The absolute crucial point here is that the middle class trap isn't actually about your bank account at all. It's a psychological condition. It's that weird state of achieving all those conventional success metrics, the engineering degree, the big promotion, the fancy property, while feeling totally trapped by the exact same system you succeeded in. Essentially, you're following an inherited generational script: study, secure, save, retire. But man, that script was built for a completely different era, one centered entirely around just avoiding risk. It's like this inherited script mistakes caution for wisdom. Now, for our parents' generation, caution genuinely meant survival. That made sense. But today, applying that old formula just means you end up building a highly comfortable cage. It doesn't feel like failure, of course. It feels perfectly reasonable, but it quietly, slowly contracts your potential, limiting what you expect and what you even believe is possible for yourself. Moving on to Section 2, why the brain loves comfort. Let's look at how this builds up. Because this stagnation you're feeling, it actually isn't your fault at all. It's just evolutionary neurology. So, our brain's ancient threat avoidance system literally cannot distinguish between the anxiety of a genuine physical danger, like, say, a snake or a terrible storm, and the anxiety of necessary professional growth. To their nervous system, they feel exactly the same. Crazy, right? You see, your brain is not designed to help you self-actualize. It's simply designed to keep you alive by conserving energy. If a situation is familiar, your brain happily rings the safe bell. But growth? Growth requires moving into the unfamiliar. It requires attempting things you might actually fail at. So every single time you try to stretch yourself, your inner caveman is basically screaming at you to retreat back to the safety of the couch. Which brings us to Section 3, 3 faces of professional comfort. Let's look at the actual mechanics of how this neurological wiring manifests in your day-to-day corporate life. What you'll notice is how these 3 traps totally masquerade as maturity and responsibility. And honestly, that is exactly what makes them incredibly dangerous and so difficult to spot. Let's break them down one by one. First up is the competence plateau. Now, from the outside, this looks like smooth sailing. You are undeniably good at your job, but what's actually happening underneath is that you're just walking on a flat treadmill. The skills you have are totally sufficient, meaning absolutely nothing new is demanded of you. But remember this: my work is fine is definitely not the same as my work matters. Being highly reliable can sometimes be the very thing that's keeping you asleep at the wheel. Next, we have the responsibility shield. This one is probably the most socially accepted comfort trap out there, especially in our cultures. It sounds a lot like, well, I have a mortgage, I have kids, I just can't take risks right now. And look, these responsibilities are very, very real, but the cognitive dissonance creeps in when you start using these legitimate obligations as a permanent excuse to avoid uncertainty. You really have to ask yourself, are you actually protecting your family, or are you just using them as a shield against the winds of your own potential? And finally, status comfort. This one catches high achievers the most decisively. I mean, you've spent maybe 2 decades building up that VP title and a formidable reputation. Trying something brand new means stepping off that comfortable pedestal and having to be a beginner all over again. Because high achievers have the absolute most to lose in appearance, they often stay in roles they have completely outgrown, literally paralyzed by the fear of looking incompetent. Let's move into section 4, the hidden costs over time. So what is the actual price of staying trapped in these comfortable routines? Well, it's not paid in one dramatic crash. It's much, much more subtle than that.
If we look at the comfort ledger, we see that the toll is paid quietly, in these tiny little installments over years. Your sense of possibility just starts to shrink. Your identity narrows entirely to your lanyard and your job title. But you know what the most honest signal is? Resentment. When you feel that sharp little sting of envy because a former peer took a leap and started a business, that sting is data. It's information. It is the exact cost of what you gave up in exchange for comfort.
And this brings us to a really profound paradigm shift. Confusing comfort with actual security is an existential threat to your career. In today's rapidly changing corporate landscape, where entire industries just shift and roles become obsolete overnight, clinging to comfort is incredibly dangerous. Always remember this: comfort is temporary, but capability is permanent. Section 5, Security versus Stagnation. Let's redefine the core terms of your professional life to shatter this illusion once and for all that staying still somehow keeps you safe. Think of it this way: comfort is a sofa. It relies entirely on the external world, your company, your industry, staying exactly the same. But security? Security is a springboard. It's the internal muscle you build to adapt, to learn, and to rebuild when disruptions inevitably happen. The professional who never stretches their skills is actually completely exposed. True safety doesn't come from a director-level job title. It comes from knowing exactly what you are capable of when the floor drops.